Welcome back. I'm joined with Mahen Ratnayaka, CEO of Kata. Welcome to the show, Mahen.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you give us a little intro about yourself?
So about myself, I studied and lived in Oman for quite a while. And then I came to Sri Lanka about 7 years back. I started my degree at Abbott. I did that, and just when I finished that, finally, actually, I started Kata. And we've been doing Kata for about 2 years now. So the premise with Kata initially was about bringing communication and audio content into one app, and then from there we evolved to Shortcast. First of all, for Kata, we got like a lot of good feedback. We won a couple of awards. You've seen that. So from there we evolved to Shortcast, and with Shortcast we ran a beta for about a week, and that actually got so much more traction than Kata ever did in just 1 week. So we were happy with that until a company called Bumpers from NYC started doing pretty much the same thing, and we were still fine with that. That's good. Competition's good, right? And they actually validated our idea. They got millions of dollars of funding, so that we were happy with that. So we let that run for a while, and until we saw that they weren't doing that good. So they weren't able to get people to create content. So what we thought was we don't want to do the same thing, and we're gonna have the same problem. So we thought we'll look at the problem again, what the problem's actually about. So we figured that it's actually about making people converse, creating content by making people talk. So that's what the new Shortcast is all about. Making people talk. It's like a talk show with everyone.
Right. That brings you and me to the big question: how old are you?
22. I just turned 22.
Okay. For a 22-year-old to start own company then work for someone else, why?
Well, I always, since back in college, I didn't like to work for other people. I just hated that. So I thought, I never planned it out that I'm going to start a company or anything like that. But then it just naturally happened that, I guess, from my nature and from the ideas I had, I just started the company and went with it.
Are you a tech guy?
Yeah, definitely.
So for a 22-year-old who just came out of college, so obviously you have a startup, which is a funded company, and it's a free app you guys are doing. It's a mobile app. How did you convince people to give you money to give out something for free?
That's actually the $1 million question, I guess. So it's about the strategy, I guess, that so you present to your investors what the whole idea is about, who the team is going to be, and how you're going to monetize it down the road, and you give them milestones. And as long as you hit those and you actually follow through, they're fine with it. So it doesn't have to make money from day one, but you got to give them a plan, and you got to hit those plans.
Yeah.
But of course, you can change it halfway if things don't work out the way you want. The way you want it to.
Yeah. So you have the flexibility of doing it, and
yeah, definitely.
What are the challenges you're facing when you're starting a company in Sri Lanka, hiring people, getting it going, getting funding?
Yeah, for sure. One of the major ones is hiring people. So we had a problem with our team, which is we didn't have one. So it was just the two co-founders, and we outsourced the Kata app. It was very, very difficult to get people to do what I wanted. So I would design it, I would show it to them. This is the design, can you build it? And they would build it, and it would be completely different from what I made. And I would make a video and give it to them. This is what I want. It would be completely different. So that went on for about 4 months, and it took a long time, a lot of money. So this time with Shortcast, we reshuffled the core team. So I'm building the iOS app, and we got Dulitha, who's our CTO, doing the backend and Android app. And it's been going really well. It's so much faster. The app is so much better.
So what is stopping you from hiring people?
I guess it's very, very hard to find people as well. People are not willing to come and work for a startup. I guess there's like a stigma where people like to say, I work for this big company. Yeah.
So I rather work for Kata as a software programmer than work for Microsoft as a team maker. Kind of deal, is it?
Exactly, that kind of deal. People are not proud of what they do, but it's just where they work for.
That's a shame, right?
That's a shame, I think
because
so.
You have to be proud of what you do rather than
exactly.
where do you do it.
That's true. I agree.
So that brings me to another question. Do you think we have talented people here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have, I think, one of the best countries in terms of software development.
Right. So if I take you, so you have an app, so you're kind of divert from what you're doing, but you're doing something else. So you said you have plans to monetize this. So do you think we have the framework, the infrastructure needed to monetize an app?
We don't. Uh, so, in short, we are using Sri Lanka as a test bed, and then plan is to move out.
Yeah.
So I think it's a shame that we have to move out, because I mean, people obviously have money to pay. It's just that getting that money through a digital platform is very, very difficult, because we don't have the backing, I think, of our government, or the infrastructure is just not.
So
built.
is this the banks or the government?
I'm actually not sure about that. I think it's both.
Yeah.
Isn't
So either these guys don't want to move forward.
Yeah, I feel like everyone wants. I mean, digital finance is a huge market,
Yeah.
so everyone wants to get in on it. Then nothing's moving forward.
Great. So the last question for you, Mahen, is so now you have this company started. What kind of advice would you give for a person to start a company? How should they find funding for it?
I think in terms of mistakes made, I would say don't get funding first and then start on it. You should always start on what you're doing, get some traction, and then look for funding. So that's something we did wrong, I think. But you learn as you go. I think that would be a key piece of advice if you're already looking to start something.
Great. So Mahen, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure having you.
You're welcome.
Sorry to call you back once more to the
That's
show. Let's take a small break and see you after.